He was an All-Pro 6 times over. He's top 15 in touchdown receptions. He's a first-team All-Pro 3 different times. He had over 1,000 yards receiving 6 different times as well. And he's a tight end. His name's Antonio Gates. Oh, yeah, by the way, he played basketball. He's really good at that. Went to Elite Eight when he was in college at Kent State. And somehow, at least for this year, for the next 364 days, he's not. Eventually, he will be a Hall of Famer. Antonio Gates joins the show. How are you, Tone?
Hey, how you doing, man?
It's good to catch up. What in the hell is going on that you're not in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I don't know. It's timing, you know.
What timing?
Everything.
Who made that presentation?
Yeah.
So do you know how it works?
I guess you get a certain amount of votes.
Well, but what I was told, because I asked people, actually asked people in the Charge organization today, I was like, how'd that happen? And they said what happens is the guy who presents your case is somebody who covered you in your hometown paper or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's likely somebody from the San Diego Union Trib.
Yeah.
They had to make the worst presentation ever.
Yeah.
This is not like, there's some, Devin Hester. That's a hard one.
Yeah.
Right? He's a kick and punt returner. Wasn't great at, but he was great as kick and punt returner, but it's not as impactful on a game-by-game basis or whatever. But, like, look, if he's the best ever and you want to put him in, fine. That's a hard sale to make. What are you missing? What am I missing? Help me.
Yeah, I don't. Like I said, man, it's I try to control what I can control, and I look at it like anything else I've experienced in life. Certain things you succeed at, and then some things you don't. And what you do moving forward is the most important thing, right? You just keep moving forward. I don't really have an answer. I just know how I felt. I was very hurt by the announcement. I got a call, actually. So I was hurt a week ago because I got the call a week ago.
So you've known for a week?
They gave me a call, yeah.
And then what is that like to, not only you're processing, like, pain, but you also can't tell anybody.
Mm-hmm. Can't tell anyone. So, obviously, your mood swings change. But I think about the journey and where I'm at and how far I've come. And I think that's the focal point for me, right? You just, I have this saying, that's what I said, due season, right? In due time, God will give you whatever it is you need to have. And then sometimes it's more important than the time, and it's the most important thing. So, I know that the people that have been around me throughout this journey, the people that have been in my corner, they know how much work we've put in, how complicated it was for me to, move from a basketball player to a free agent to a player to All-Pro. And that degree of difficulty is second to none in sports.
It's second to none. And I grew up playing basketball with Tony Gonzalez. Tony was a football player the whole time, right? Who played basketball.
Yes.
You were a basketball player who then
playing football.
Ended up playing football. What, in the early days, your first training camp, right? There had to be a moment where you're like, this ain't gonna happen.
You're right. Shoot, I had a lot of moments like that. So I think what happened was too. For me was, I think when I made the decision to play the game of football, it was no way I can turn back.
Right.
So
once you went all in,
I pushed all chips in. Yeah. And so my philosophy was, this got to work. I don't have a plan B. This was a plan B. So I don't have another plan. This better work, right? So I just still remember getting a dislocated finger, boom, like the second day of practice. I'm like, dang, this is different, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, pop it back in place. Take me up, because Marty Schottenheimer was big on availability.
Yeah, availability is your biggest ability,
That's your biggest attribute. So there's no way I can make this team if I'm hurt. So it didn't matter what it was, high ankle sprain, sprained ankle, dislocated. I'm shooting it up, I'm going, because I can't play and make this team if I'm hurt. And it was like your mom telling you something that you took literally, not figuratively. You know what I'm saying? I take it literally like, oh, if I'm hurt, I'm going to get cut. Simple. It was just black and white for me that way. And I think that's what drove me, in all due respect, it drove me to the level that I was able to end up having in the play, because everything I did was predicated to me being ready to play on Sunday. I don't care what it was. I got to get on that field. And that meant something to me. That meant something to my teammates. And I think that's the reason, that fear factor is what drove me.
I got two questions for you. First one, what was it like when they called you in and told you made the team?
Right, I was shocked. I was shocked. For one, I was trying to make the practice squad. I ain't even had no intention of making a regular team. You know, like you got your first, whether the 52 or whatever it is. So I was trying to make the practice squad because at that time I had already seen the contract. I think the practice squad guys made $120,000. And all my friends were making like $60,000. They work with GM and waste management. So I'm like, oh, I'll be the highest paid guy in my crew.
Right.
So that's all that mattered to me. You know what I'm saying? So I end up, trying to make the practice squad because I'm thinking I'm a basketball guy. They're going to give me a couple of years, right, to develop me so I can make this little, I can, go home and, it's on me tonight. You know what I'm saying? So I never even, the thought of making a team wasn't even on my agenda.
So you walk in, is it A.J. Smith?
You're right,
A.J.
Smith.
And Marty?
Right. So it's a process of elimination. So, 3-4 days down, before you make the team, guys are leaving, getting cut. So I remember, and I just told you the story, it was funny. I remember and it was like 4 dudes left. And out of the 3 or 4, one of us got to go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they let a guy go that came from Nebraska and another guy go from Notre Dame. And when they let those guys go, I was like, shit, I got to be next.
Yeah.
Because these dudes can play. You let the guy go from Notre Dame?
Yeah.
And I'm a basketball player. I'm like, damn, he got cut? He good. So in my mind, I say, okay, this is crazy. They probably about to let me go next. So this is the fear factor. I'm studying extra hard because I know history, right? Hadn't been in the stands, hadn't understood a playbook. So I'm doing everything firsthand. And what I would say to you is that my ability to have no credit was better than having bad credit. It's like that concept, right?
You had no bad habits.
No bad habits.
Yeah.
So I was picking things up, and they was able to see this descending version of me, and I think that's why I was able to make the team.
You go from that to you even retired, and then Philip goes down and brings you out of retirement, and you became this guy who, when I say you couldn't run, you couldn't run like you used to be able to run, right?
Run like this,
Right, but you still got open and caught the ball. How did it work? There has to be some secret sauce to it.
Yeah.
How do you get open when you can't really run?
Well, I think the reality was, for me, this is my reality, I would see so many different coverages that I couldn't watch film to say this is what they're going to do to the Chargers. This is what they're going to do against me. So I couldn't watch, all due respect, I don't know what people might think, but I remember watching film on, and I don't watch a lot of film because it was so hard because it wasn't going to happen to me. I remember seeing the Broncos game, and they were playing the Patriots. And when they go to goal line, they go to goal line package with the Patriots with Gronkowski. And Gronkowski pop out, and Von Miller pop out, right? Talib, Chris Harris, and all of them be on the sideline, right? But that's against the Patriots. When we played them, Talib stayed in the game. See, so that's what I'm saying.
They put the best cover corner.
Right. So the idea was I never could. At the time, I was developing a habit to learning how to use my brain to find spots and holes to get open. And my physical ability was declining.
Yeah.
So I had to learn more of how to find. So now I have to kind of go into that. Okay, this is what they did X, Y, and Z. So I was anticipating something that I hadn't seen, and that was the ability to adapt in the actual game was my biggest asset. I'm saying, Coach, this is what they're doing. I told you, Charles Woodson on me. Darrelle Reeves on me on third down.
Right.
And then we never seen that. So we ain't going to worry about that. Put me in motion so I can see what they're doing. So stop him from jamming me. And that was my mindset. It was just one of those situations where I had to develop that because I was reaching heights where it required you to do more.
Right.
And it's like anything. The bigger you get, the more research you got to do, right?
Yeah.
The more layers to it. And I would get to a point where I didn't even worry about the play we called. I wouldn't even worry about who were guarding me. I was worried about where your help was coming from. I got to that level of trying to figure out where his help at. I'm going to beat him.
Yeah.
But if he's outside leverage, his help is over here.
Correct.
Or his help is behind him. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of the growth in the sports
It's
world.
amazing. It's amazing. From a guy who didn't know anything about football to having that sort of mental aptitude to be able to pick up on it, to read it, and then to make the adjustment on the fly. Look, I mean, as a Charger fan, but a football fan, we know you'll be in there. It just sucks that you're going to have to wait, I guess, 357 or 58 more days.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks.